Hello and welcome. My name is Fake Fairy Tale and this is the fourth video in the Let's Build a Cave series. Now, in between videos, I was wondering what to do with the map, and all the while discussing the map with somebody, he mentioned that there were some other grey colored rocks, versions of the ones that I used here, the brown ones. And I decided to check them out, see how they look, and perhaps use them instead of the brown rocks. Now, I haven't made up my mind entirely about that yet, but I think I'm going to replace at least a few of them, just to make the map a little bit more coherent, make sure that there's a little less difference in color and make it a little bit less messy. And there are also a few underwater rocks. But I don't think we want to use those here, because for that I have sort of a different plan. Yeah, this is not working. No. So what I want to do is I will put it on fast forward and quickly change up a few of the rocks here and there. And when that's finished, we'll get into one of the things is lighting. I want to make sure that we have some glowing mushrooms. I want to add some vegetation underwater here as well, and perhaps add some crystals or minerals of sorts in these places that are lacking of content of objects at the moment. And when that's done, I think we can progress on to some shadowing, and then we are getting close to finishing the map actually. And moving on to the next stage, which would be the dungeon and designing the dungeon. That's on the top left. Anyway, without further ado, I'll quickly go and fix up the rocks and I'll be back with you guys in a few minutes. Alright, and we're back. I like what I did here with the grey rocks. I think it looks a bit better than having the brown rocks spread out everywhere. There's still some brown rocks here and there, which go nicely with all the ashen wood and the crates. But for the coherency of the map, I think it's great that we have some more grey rocks in there as well. And I think I want to leave it at this for now. What brings me to the next step, and I was mentioning some underwater vegetation, and for that we're going to need some plants. And what we're going to do is we're going to turn the alpha value all the way down, so that you only have like this see-through outline of the plant. And I want to add in some of that around the edges. It's a detail, and it's not something everybody's gonna notice, but I think it'll look neat to have a little bit of this here and there spread around the water. And maybe even if we like put them all the way at the edge, we can put some plants on like these tiny leaves, and have them break through the surface of the water. And I also need some moss growing on these rocks. And from a distance, you can barely notice it, but it's there, which is sufficient if you ask me. I'll add in a few plants here and there. Awesome. And then we'll continue with some moss, and I want it to grow on the edges of the water here as well. So we're going to go back to blood textures. We'll take one of the larger spots. Can I see you? I can't. So let's take green. Turn it down. And see what we have here. We can turn it down quite a bit further. And even more. we just slap that? I think that's too big actually. So we'll make it thinner and smaller, and we'll place that around the edges of the water as if there's some moss growing there. We can do it on the rocks here as well. We'll do that in a second. And perhaps we can add it on the walls. Just change the color a little bit. And over there, we'll just slap it on. Make sure that it's all nice and green. And we'll do the same thing on the rock here. And I think because the rock is a little bit brighter, we want to also make the moss a little bit brighter. And we'll slap on some green blood here and there. Just morph in the wood there as well. We can also do this with brown. I want it to be on here as well. A little bit smaller. There we go. Everything that's facing the water side. Just so there is some more color variety here and there. But it still actually makes sense. Those are quite far removed from. We'll do it a little bit. There we go. Let's see if I missed much. I don't think so. And maybe at the places where there are some mushrooms anyway, indicating that it might be a bit damp over there. Or have at least some. Oh, we can do it here as well. We already dirtied them up quite a bit. Take another one. And let's see if we can find some more mushrooms. We have one over here. I'm just gonna scan through the dungeon, fix up these spots. There we go. Make it very small. All right. Okay, that's good. Now, I mentioned some crystals, and there was a while ago there was this awesome asset pack that includes a lot of different crystals, and to be honest, they're quite tricky to place down properly, but I think we can manage. And I want to stay more or less in the same color theme, so something green would probably work, green or light blue. And we'll probably tone it down a little bit with some shadow paths that go over them. But what I want to achieve is just that you have something of interest going on here. You could also have your party like find these crystals, or maybe they're actually looking for them. Whatever you like. And I think if we can get it to fit in over here, that would be great. Maybe have it. Yeah, that's okay. And like right now, it looks really as if it's slapped on there. But if we take some shadow pathing around the edges, make sure that that's a bit darker, it will look quite nice, I think. We'll add in like a little shape here as well. As if it's a geode. And we'll do the same thing over here. And I think we're going to stay with green. Because I want the map to keep its coherency, and different colors is something that really can really pull parts of the map away from each other, as in vibe or tone. So I want to make sure that it stays close together, and we will. Let's see. Oh, that's fine. Place that here. See if we have like another small one. Maybe around the edge there. And we can use some lighting to give it a soft green glow to make sure that people notice it when looking at the map. So there we had some vegetation, we have some crystals, and I think I want to continue to applying some shadows. Yeah, all right. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. This is also again something I will be putting on fast forward. It's like we discussed in the previous video series. I'll be lining all the rocks, make sure that they pull away from each other. I'll be making sure that, for example, this section of rock clearly is lower than this ridge over here, because right now it looks like it's about the same height, as goes for all these areas around it. Make sure that it's a bit darker, see if we can create some depth over here. And then it will also help to apply a little bit of glow to the mushrooms here and there, which will stand out more, but not too much. And I think we'll have quite a nicely looking map by the time we're done. So I'll be doing that for the coming few minutes, and I'll see you at the end. All right, and here we are. So this took actually quite a bit longer already than I expected. I also noticed that I made a detour into lighting a bit already, and we're still not entirely finished, but I want to make sure that this video doesn't grow too long because it's already very long. So I want to quickly explain what I've been doing and then just do the next step in between videos. I'll just be adding some more shadow pathing and making sure that everything blends together really well. Now, the first thing I did was make sure that the bottom sides of cliffs are darker. So if you have like these edges going on, the top side should be lighter than the bottom side to indicate the height difference. I think that worked out quite well, and it looks quite nice in most places already. There's a few places that I need to revisit potentially, because I saw like here there's some, it's not, that's actually a bit better already. I just check out these ridges. I did the same thing with the water here. So you have some shadow pathings going along the edges in addition to the ones that I already made. And I decided to add in some lighting. And as you see, I placed out a lot of different lights for the mushrooms. And what I did is give them their own light and then have them cast lights on the objects around them so that you have this shine or glow going everywhere. I did the same for the crystals and the red mushrooms as well. And I added in the central light here, which indicates that there's something, that there's a hole or crack in the ceiling. I put an emphasis on this light by placing down some shadows on the other sections of the water, made the back sides of the rocks a bit darker. And I also lined most objects with a shadow path to make sure that they pull away from the floor. I did the same thing with these planks over here, and I still have to do it over here. And also put in a lot of shadows around the rocks, make sure that they feel like they're inside or underneath sections of the cave wall, etc, etc. So that's basically what I've been doing. In the meanwhile, I've been repositioning things on layers as well, because sometimes the shadow path goes underneath an object and I want it to go on top. This is something I'll just continue to do and to fix in the next few, probably hour or so. And I'll start recording when it's finished. I'll show you guys the results and we'll pick up from there. In the next video, I would probably like to go into creating... Oh, that's one thing I actually forgot to mention. I also want to have some light flowing out of this section of dungeon. I think that will look cool if we place in some invisible walls. That will be something for the next video as well. We'll be placing invisible walls to make sure that things block light. And make sure no light leaks into these negative spaces. So thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit the like, favorite or subscribe button. It really helps to get my video out there. If you're searching for something interesting to do, like for example your weekend, I've also been running some challenge runs. Might be interesting to look at. If not, no hard feelings of course. And I hope to see you again in the next video.